Hola guys and girls, and welcome to a new top 5 Keyforge video. And as the title and thumbnail suggest, this time we are gonna look at the top 5 comments of the house Starlines. First of all, going into this list, of course, why do I only look at comments? Pretty easy. A general top 5, top 10s for best cards in each house. You can find a dozen on YouTube, and I wanted to do something different. I decided to focus on the comments, since these are the cards which your decks are going to be most comprised of. Most of the cards you're going to have in hand, you're going to play against, are going to be common cards. So yeah, I thought it's interesting to just look at the top 5 from each house of these comments to have a feel look at the deck. You see this has a lot of comments from this card, and this has a lot of this card. You can better determine what good decks are and what to look out for. And I just thought comments makes the most sense to focus on from the 4 rarities you can find in Keyforge. Comments makes the most sense to focus on. So yeah, we got that. Then for this top 5 as well, I didn't look at any metric whatsoever. This is purely opinion based. This is only from my experience playing with these cards and playing against these cards. So you are free to disagree. You're welcome to put your opinions in the comments and say what is wrong in your opinion, and which card did I forget, which placements did I do wrong. But yeah, that's enough of the general top 5 introduction. Now let's go into the house Starlines. Of course, introduced in Worlds Collide there, so there are not that many cards to look at with Starlines, since it's only out for one set yet. So the card pool is not that deep, but still Starlines proved together with Saurians to be a very impactful house, and probably my second favorite house, I would say, after Logos. It's definitely Starlines, and it's definitely one of the stronger houses already, just by being in one set already. A lot of nice cards in Starlines, and yeah, you will find some cool cards even in the common pool, which we can talk about here. But let's start with the number 5 spot, which was a bit difficult for me because the number 4 I got pretty quick, but number 5 I was a bit more difficult. And we do look at an upgrade, which Starlines of course has a dozen of, and we are gonna look at Light of the Archons, an upgrade which gains an Aember, which goes for a lot of upgrades in Starlines, and has the effect this creature gets +1 power and +1 armor for each upgrade attached to it. So this already goes with the upgrade theme from Starlines, one of the 2 themes Starlines kind of goes with. And yeah, I decided to go for this card because obviously if you attach it to something, it has at least one upgrade, which is Light of the Archons itself. So it already gains 1 power and +1 armor. And yeah, if you just keep stacking on upgrades on a creature, it just keeps protecting it with adding additional armor and power. And this is very nice because usually what the most annoying stuff is, you put a lot of upgrades on something, it gets all kinds of effects and stuff like that, but then it just gets removed and you lose all the benefits you got from the upgrades and stuff like that. Light of the Archons just helps protect the creature, which has these upgrades on it, for one, so you can keep use the effects of the upgrades you have on it, and secondly, for the creature itself. So maybe it's a weaker creature which needs protection, but you want to have it on the board. Put Light of the Archons on there, put maybe another upgrade on there, and boom, it has +2 armor, +2 power. So that's an additional 4 damage you need to do on that creature to kill it with only 2 cards. And yeah, it just keeps going. This card is especially impactful if you get 2 on it, so you get +2 power, +2 armor for each upgrade on this creature. And yeah, it's just a great protection card. Sometimes you, of course, use it offensively as well, so you get additional power on a creature, so you can be able to fight versus something. But most of the times you're gonna use this card, it's gonna be for protection on weaker cards. So yeah, they can stick on the board for longer and be a menace for the opponent. And of course, in Starlines, there are a lot of upgrades, all the blasters. You got so many upgrades in Starlines. So yeah, they're most likely, if you have one Light of the Archons, you have at least one other upgrade in Starlines as well. And yeah, that's why it's on the number 5 spot. Like I mentioned, there are a lot of common cards which could fit this number 5 spot, but since Starlines did go kind of with the theme of upgrades, I decided to put Light of the Archons right here. Now going for the number 4 spot, we are going to look at an action card, of course introduced in Worlds Collide as well. This of course go for all cards, so I probably stopped mentioning it, but this is the Red Alert. Action card with the play effect: if there are more enemy creatures than friendly creatures, deal damage to each enemy creature equal to the difference. So for many people, for some people which text is complicated, if your opponent has 3 creatures, I have 1, I did 2 damage to everything. 4 creatures, 1, 3 damage. I have 0, he has 5, there's 5 damage to everything. So what this thing does, it is a board wipe / damage dealing effect. depending on how big the opponent's board is. But this card is great because usually when do you want to board wipe? Either way, it's when your opponent has more creatures than you. So, and that enables the red alert. I love the red alert, especially in Worlds Collide, that the boards tend to get huge. And maybe your opponent is getting ahead and has like a big board and you're only struggling with like 2 to 3 creatures, stuff like that. And you just play the red alert and you get a lot of damage on anything. Like if you get into the 4-5 damage realm, this card is a very strong board wipe. And the good thing is you can start enabling it yourself. Like let's say you have already Starlines creatures on board, you can just run them into something to getting rid of the board, so red alert does more damage, and for example to get some other stuff in range of the damage of red alert to have this impactful board wipe going on. Like I already said, Worlds Collide, the board gets huge, and since then, like AOA, like Age of Ascension, already got into the territory of big boards, but board wipes just got more important, and having such a good board wipe in the common pool for Starlines definitely makes it deserving of the number 4 spot, and that's why I put it here. Most of the time, sometimes it's of course a dead card, like if you have more creatures than your opponent, then this card doesn't help you at all, you just discard it, you archive it, whatever. But this is a comeback card, and yeah, since comeback cards are of course only useful if you need to come back, I put it down here at the number 4 spot, not anywhere higher. And yeah, that's the red alert for you. Now, looking at the number 3 spot, another action card, and this card is the Stealth Mode. Gains you an extra Aember and has the effect, your opponent cannot play action cards during their next turn. So this is basically a clone of the Scrambler Storm, which Locust already has, but a very nice disruptive effect. There are a lot of action cards which, yeah, are very impactful, like you can already see from my videos before. There are a lot of action cards in these top 5 commons videos, but of course they are like in an uncommon and rare realm. There are even more impactful action cards which you can just deny the Stealth Mode. You can make sure that your opponent keeps them on the hand, is stuck with them on the hand, doesn't get to play them. And in some scenarios, like let's say you have a lot of Aember, you don't want the opponent stealing them, most of the Aember control effects, or many of them, are action cards, you can just deny them with the Stealth Mode. And yes, there's a very nice disruptive effect which never hurts. Yes, there's never a scenario in which Stealth Mode hurts you because you do gain Aember, so even if your opponent has no action cards in hand, it's very unlikely, but does of course happen, you already got an Aember out of it, so there's never like there's never a dead card in your hand. Like even 3 copies of this in your deck, it's always nice since you do have this extra Aember as well. So yeah, I'm very happy with Stealth Mode having some more action card control there, apart from Scrambler Storm, stuff like that. And yeah, I'm never sad to see multiple copies of Stealth Mode in my deck, since I love these disruptive effects, which since Keyforge is a game where you can play stuff during your opponent's turn, so usually what you do in your opponent's turn, you formulate your own game plan, you look at what he does, and then you look at your own cards, what you have field and stuff like that, you formulate your plan, you're like, okay, yeah, this is what I'm going to do next turn, if he does that, I'm most likely going to do that, blah blah blah. And then the opponent just drops a Stealth Mode and all of that is out of the window and you have to go from scratch formulating your game plan for the next turn, and this can be very annoying for the opponent and very disruptive, and that's why I love cards like the Stealth Mode. But now let's go to the next spot, which is the number 2 spot, and this is the first time we are going to look at the creature, and this is the creature Medic Engram, 3 power creature, human with a play fight reap effect. You may heal damage from a creature, free damage, and ward it. This is the second part, is the most important part. The free damage healing is nice, but that's of course not why this card is up here in the second spot. It is the warding stuff, and that it's a play fight reap effect. So whatever you do with Medic Engram, this effect triggers. Doesn't matter if you reap, doesn't matter if you fight, doesn't matter if you just played it. And yeah, this of course goes for a lot of Starlines creatures, which is why this is just such a great and impactful house, that these creatures, you play them and they're immediately impactful. Something which other houses like Brobma definitely could need, but yeah, they're stacked in Starlines. And like I already mentioned in some other videos, warding is a very awesome mechanic. In my opinion, a bit too strong. I would have loved if like bouncing and archiving them or purging them would still work. But yeah, sadly doesn't. Sadly, it still saves them. Something to note with Medic Engram as well is that you can play it and immediately ward it itself, since play effect trigger after the creature hit the field. So yeah, you can ward it itself to just have it stick on the board and potentially ward some more creatures. And yeah, keep calling Starlines and keep warding your whole board. And yeah, have it stick around. Starlines, of course, doesn't have the strongest creatures. They have nice, very nice effects. great effects even. So having wards on them to have them stick around for more turns, to have the effects trigger more often, is very nice in Star Lines. So that's why Mythic Engram definitely deserves the number 2 spot. Very impactful card, and you're never sad to see multiple Engrams in your deck, since there's most of the times there's always something to ward. Like I said, worst case scenario, or not even worst case scenario, like even if you have no creatures, you can still ward itself. So yeah, and you get to heal free, which is nice. Like if this card would have been Flayfight Reap, ward a creature, I think this would have been still at the number 2 spot, but additional heal free never hurts. And yeah, that's Mythic Engram for you. Now looking at the number 1 spot, which is once again a creature, which of course as well with Playfight Reap effect, free power as well. It is Com Officer Kirby, a human creature with the Playfight Reap effect. You may play a non-Starlines artifact, upgrade, or action card this turn. So in other words, you are allowed to play anything but a creature with the Com Officer Kirby, which is awesome. Like I said, this is like a kind of a nerfed helper bot. Like helper bot allows you to play anything. Just this allows you to play anything but a creature, but you do get the free power, so it's more difficult to get rid of, and you can potentially trigger this effect more often than just once, since it's not only play effect, but it is a fight reap effect as well. And yeah, most of the times you're always gonna have like an action card, an upgrade, or an artifact from a different house in hand, which you just want to play on the field. Get more cards out of your hand, you get to draw more, you get more on the field more quicker than your opponent, you get to draw quicker through your deck, you get to recycle your deck earlier than your opponent. All of these out-of-house effects are awesome, and Kirby is a great example of, yeah, a good out-of-house enabling creature. And that's why it's definitely deserving of the number 1 spot. Like you can see with this top lists, there are a lot of these cards which enable out-of-house effects or out-of-house playing are always there. And Kirby is probably one of the best in there. And that's why it's at the number 1 spot right here. Pretty straightforward. You can just get to play something, and potentially even for multiple turns. And with 3 power, it is over the threshold of 2 power. 2 power is always like 2 power and 1 power is very easy to get rid of. There are a lot of effects which do 2 damage to something, and by just having 3 power, it's a lot more difficult to get rid of. Most of the times the opponent has to fight with something. Like there's not too many action cards which deal 3 or more damage. But this concludes my top 5 common Starlines video. Like I already mentioned, let me of course know in the comments what you think of this top 5. What would you put elsewhere? Which card did I forget? But yeah, that is the video. If you did enjoy, of course, leave a like, comment, subscribe, you know the deal. Hit me on Twitter and Facebook, all the links in the description, and I will see you another time. Ciao.